Looking to find harmony and work-life balance? Join Coach Anna Joe as she shares practical strategies, empowering mindsets, and inspiring stories to live the life you want to lead on Anna Joe Talks, Work Life for Badasses. Now, here's your host, Coach Anna Joe.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Anna Joe Talks Work Life for Badasses. I'm Coach Anna Joe and I'm here to challenge the myth of balance and find real harmony in modern life. Get ready for that moment that will inspire you to take action and live life on your own terms. I'm your host, Coach Anna Joe, and let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Today we are diving into a topic that's often talked about, and in this season of the year, the end of the year, everybody is exciting to talk about, but rarely we go deep. We don't go so deep as have this conversation, and since my journey as a coach and as a personal development as a leader, right? We don't go deep, which is about your future self. I would like to call this episode How to Date with Your Future Self, right? Because this is a dating with your future self. Imagine how exciting it is dating with your future self. It starts here. How do I do that? And this is really about there's a quote, there's a someone told me, I love what you say, which is about the freedom to think and explore and the freedom to decide and have that empowerment of the freedom to think about all the ideas that you can become. Who can you become? What you want, everything, right? And as well to take action, like you have the freedom to decide. And I think we go so often straight on the constraints, on the blockers for the actions that we don't even give ourselves permission on the freedom to explore, to think, and to be in the wonder life. And that's why I believe that the future self sounds sometimes a bit woo-woo, right? And overused. I would say like these Pinterest-like type quotes, like follow your dreams, dream big, be the best version of yourself. They'll step into your future self, and that makes sense. I bet that you are listening to this and you are thinking, yes, that makes sense. I want to be this badass, right? So I want to be this. But what? Who is this person? Who is this person? How can you meet more this future self? How can you like it's about like the how can I date more? How can I understand more about this person that I want to become? But let me explore. And that is exciting. And honestly, and that's why I believe that we got excited because it's really exciting to think about the future we can create. But our thoughts go, yeah, one day. And the urgency, there's no urgency. So I bet you don't have in your calendar future self. Do you have in your calendar future self? Look, okay, so me neither. I didn't have until I think this year when I did the leap of faith. I started to have actually in the morning. I put like in the me time and I put future self. And I think for me it was important because it was building some capabilities and some thinking process. For me, it's about like how am I thinking? How am I thinking in the future that I'm not thinking right now? So for me, it was really important to date my future self and how am I going to think as my future self? I'm really curious. How am I going to develop my thoughts to think as my future self? All right. So it's very interesting to have these conversations because I bet there is so many like out there, right? So to request your attention regarding your future self. And this is what I want to explore. And why? Because right now I'm running, so it's ongoing, the 6-week work-life balance challenge. And if you think about the challenge, if you think about work-life balance, perhaps you don't think about that. But the first week is all about I didn't call future self as it is. And honestly, I didn't call future self because I want to save these words that make people feel like woo woo, what does that look like? But is actually to explore who you want to become. Because anything in terms of self transformation, in terms of self reflection, it's all about like having the time and dedicated time to explore who you want to become and what's the next thing you are up to. And sometimes people say, I don't know. And it's okay to don't know. But the phase of exploration, it's where is the secret and the magic is looking forward. It's like, all right, let me know and date my future self. All right. And I don't know about your date life. Do you remember when you start to date? Did you know who you're going to marry? You know who's going to be look like your spouse. Perhaps you had this wonder, you had like an idea, but you had to go on a date, right? Several dates perhaps, right? To find your spouse. And that one, you had to date, you had to know, you had to learn. You like to enjoy, not enjoying, like that's the type of thing I'm talking about here. But it's your future self. So then, because for me, it's always about like if you go like along and know and date and understand, how's the future self look like when you come back to the present? The clarity of your purpose is higher, like comes with the clarity of the present. It's just outstanding. There is no way that you would be running out of energy. All right. If you have clarity in terms where you want to go, what you do right now, even if it's hard, you are with a high energy because you want to become that person. You know already, like if you think like that, it's a journey. You are in the journey. And who is in the journey for something? It's the clarity of a purpose is so strong that burnout of that journey is lower. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but it's the probability that you're going to burn out on the journey for something that is so like deep, like in belief for yourself. You go after, you find the energy, you have this power to make it happen. All right. And this is where, I want to explore a little bit more about where we are regarding to the future self, and get here a reminder to all the badasses here that are listening to this podcast to have this reminder that it will be good to have this time for you, to dedicate this time for you, who you want to become. And I was telling regarding to the 6-week work-life balance challenge, this is what we do on the first week. And honestly, that's then is the tagline for the rest of the challenge, who you want to become. And then having that tagline, who you want to become, because then the picture of who you want to become comes like this symbol of someone who you want to become, a consistent base for your action, for your one goal, for overcome the obstacles, to find the strategies to keep the momentum to achieve the goal, which is very practical at the end. But the self reflection and have the time to go ahead and think about the future and live then the future in the present, and that is your drive. It's not an easy exercise. Let me tell you that is not an easy exercise. And that's why I'm talking about that. So, if you're listening to this episode, perhaps you can do like a very simple exercise that I am going to talk about. Okay. So, and talking about future, right? So the first thing is actually accept and validate the time that you are in exploration. And the power of exploration, it's like before you have clarity, you need curiosity. Oh, yes. Curiosity is the skill. If I can talk about the skill that you can use to explore and to define your future self, it's curiosity. And dating with your dreams, dating your future self. So it's not about you committing. You're not committing to anything, all right? So you are in exploration. And the time you spend there is an investment for yourself. All right. And also, you're going to get to know, like, if you go and explore really like having time for yourself, you're going to explore parts of your current self that perhaps you don't even know that were there. All right. So, or you didn't know, like, again, another moment, right? I'm thinking like that. How does it look like? So, and this is where spending time with the future self brings as well a higher awareness for the current self. All right. Because if you notice about the blockers that are popping up in your mind, oh, I can't even think about that. That's difficult. I mean, it will never happen. And if you are aware and actually, like putting the time and the effort and the curiosity, why not? Oh, really? So, and have this type of conversation with your future self. Remember, you're dating with your future self. It starts to be very interesting in terms of how you're going to do it. And when I'm talking about future self, I'm not talking about only job. I'm talking really about work and life. All right. So work means okay, perhaps what you would like to do, and sometimes my clients go, like when we started to talk like that, they go like the dream of what they want to do, right? So like I want to do the like me, right? I want to do this version of Tony Robbins as a woman international because of my accent, right? So I want to do this badass, like impacting the world so people can really be the best selves. They invest in themselves and they can be free to decide their own lives and live life on their own terms, right? This looks like woo woo, right? Almost. So I'll be like Tony Robbins, and you can see like Tony Robbins, like big stages and this powerful voice and impacting, and he has so many frameworks. He has a school, he has like people like in his school, right? Other coaches that are so powerful as well because learn from them, and that's where is the power. So for me, I'm a fan of Tony Robbins, so is a really a bigger role model in terms of how we represent personal transformation and so on. So I have this idea how, but I know my journey won't be the same. I know my journey, but the curiosity, how am I going to become a Tony Robbins, a version as a woman and an international one, right? And a late bloomer because he started when he was 19, 20 years, right? Something like that. And I'm starting in my 40s. So also so many differences already, but like it's not impossible because of those reasons. Let me see how would look like my journey in terms of work to become this person that impacts the world, that has these frameworks, there's so much knowledge in terms of transformation, of personal transformation, has this confidence to help others. It's like, I want that, right? He fills the room when he's in the room. I don't know if you ever had the chance to be with him in the room. So I'm inspired by that. So I'm taking the pieces by them and curious, how can I apply in my journey, in my current self, and actually build my future self, because then is my future self, right? Inspired by this person that I really is a role model for me. Okay. So when we think like that, we start to be, let me see, how does it look like? And and then like this really lights me up. But this is a work. But then what I was talking about, it's about like, okay, work I go after, and even like there's so many techniques to go after, and this is not the aim of this podcast today, so perhaps I will do another one about that, the how to do this. But what I want is even go like more a bit broader, right? Future date with your future self beyond work. So how are we going to look like? Because sometimes like, oh yes, I want to lose weight. I have a lot of clients that says I want to lose weight, and it's not because to be fit and be like whatever in the style I want. I want to be myself, but I want to lose weight. It's like, what's the problem to define yourself how you want to be? Like, be the badass in the shape of the badass you want. So tell me, how do you look like? You are what? Like very fit? You are like skinnier? You have like your curvies. So tell me, how does excite, like, oh, how you dress up? With what type of makeup? And that starts to be, what you talking about? Yes, like I'm hiking, I am climbing mountains, I am having this sportswear which is very comfortable, but that's a badass, an adventurous badass. And why? Ooh, wow, that's amazing. And starts to build up the reality of the future, which is there is no commitment there. These only ideas, but starts to pop up in your mind and allowing that, starting to date. So you want like to be more adventurous and look like more adventurous to hike and climb, or you like to be more this type. Okay, I wanna share with you. So I would like to do this type of bodybuilder. I'm really a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, don't go there. I'm not going to, to build my body as Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I love to see the strength of the badasses in the bodybuilding type of thing. Like seeing women that I think, and why? Because represents so much work for me, right? Behind of that body, that shape, that represents so much body. It's like, is there a version that I can build something that represents like that? So I'm trying to see about like I'd like to be strong, have muscles, and be a strong like 40, 50-year-old lady, like how perhaps I need to be doing weights more. So I started to think through about that. And yeah, it excites me. Like, okay. And then you tell me, how are you going to do it? No, 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 don't go there. Because if I go there, I don't even like, I can't. No, no, no. Oh, right. Let me date first with that future self of Coach and Joe, having all great muscles, right? And the type of bodybuilder type of body, right? So let me date to check, right? How does it look like? Do I really like it? Oh, no commitment here, but it's fun to have the freedom to think about that. So, work, how you look like, even like relationships, right? Do you have your same friends? Do you have the family's family? But even the family environment is the same culture you have in your family. So what type of vibrancy of the relationships you want to have? And this is very important because who you surround you are started to become. So if you're dating your future self, right, is important. So to understand, like, how does it look like the environments you are in, right? So and that's important as well, not only for personal life, but as well for your networking in terms of job. Okay, so you are hanging out with who, right? So it's also kind of dating the future self and the friends of the future self to see how does it look like. Okay, so and then the other part is really about like, your health. So, and here's about I want to be healthy. Done. But each one of you and has their own things, their own habits, and why not to think through again? What you'd like to do. I wish. So get the wishes, date with the future self, and throw that to the future self. But how does it look like? The thing is to spend time to thinking through about your future self, and everything is allowed. Everything is allowed. All right. And so this is also something that when you date, you think, right? So what does it look like in terms, does it light up when you think about your future self in that certain type of shape and form? It just is fun. It's vibrant, right? So and start to get like interested. Not only I want, I wish, but then go in detail on the each thing that I want and I wish, and ask why. What's that mean for you? And explore one of each the things. So here, as perhaps I'm jumping already on the terms of the how I would like to give you like this exercise to test the future self. And what I ask actually in terms of the first week, one of the exercises is actually to ask. It has two type of things to build the future self. So one is the 10 traits, 10 traits. So traits is competencies, like it's traits, right? Qualities of your future self. And it normally comes, I want to be empowered, it's a leader, I live my own life on my own terms, like you have those qualities, those traits. And then the second one, I ask to put there the 25 wants. And the 25 wants starts to be more the what, right? I want to have a house near the beach. I want to have an apartment in Manhattan. So those are the things very want. I want to write a book. I wanted to I want my podcast to be in the top 10 for personal development or self-help podcasts. So things like that starts to be the want. So, and why is that? Is that the both the 10 things that or the traits that who you want to become plus the 25 wants gonna go and complement. But the thing I want you to explore is taking time. This is not one exercise one time. This is something that you can nurture to find this future self. So on which thing that of the first go to the 10, explore what's come up for you on each one. All right. Even journal each one. So when you say, I am a leader, right? What are you thinking? When you define your future self, you are a leader. All right. So, and for me, leaders means for sure for something for you because your experience, your circumstances, your background are different. So, and that's where it comes the difference. How is that look like? And then perhaps you're going to say that's a repetition. Some of the parts, some of the items of the 10 traits of the future self would be like this is repeating, repeating, repeating. It's okay. Repetition makes it work. Okay. It's okay. And that's where you start to see the common theme that is if it's something repeating, 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 you start to see the common theme that actually you like about your future self, that actually you want to date more about that of your future self and starts to become the how. We are not talking about the how today, right? How to go after the future self and how to choose and like to what's the pick, what the priorities. We're not taking that for today. Today is really the phase of exploration and the dating stage, all right? And spending time there, all right? Because I know you are busy. You are a badass and you are an high achiever because if a badass, you are an high achiever. And high achievers normally spend time on action. Like, and the phase of exploration doesn't have this achievement because the things to achieve is not tangible. I did that. So at the end of the day, of the end of the week, yes, I have better clarity of my better self or my future self. It doesn't look like, huh? What do you mean? Right? So but actually it's a great badass action to say at the end of the day and a very accomplishing one to say that. But I understand. I do the same, and it's hard for me not going in action and bold things in action. But spending time on your future self is something that I can tell you the how powerful it is. If you have that, start to have that habit on nurture and date your future self. Seriously. Okay. After you create this possibility map on the 10, on your 10 traits of who you want to become and the 25 ones, you are creating your plan of possibility. And this is where the curiosity and exploration phase comes into play. And then, how to transform these into goals, right? And then is where it comes into goals. And perhaps this is comes like where it is like the blocker, because if I want all that, how can I do it? Perhaps not all at the same time. Perhaps, there are others milestones in between. There's other ways to look at that. But this is where curiosity comes. But today is all about clarity and bringing the clarity of that future self and making space in your calendar, on yourself, on your mind, on your thoughts, so you can really explore, meet, understand more about that person who you want to become. Okay. There's a book, again, for Ben Hardy that talks about the future self. Now, I think that's like, and he talks about the challenge, the truth, and the myth. So it's about like like how to the seven truths about the future self, and here you'll really explore like the how, and it has a lot of exercises, so it's a very good resource if you want to go after more details and spending more time here. So it is actually as well something. It's a great book. It's a great book. But to also, when I say about that, like I realized that all my practice in terms of coaching, not only the 6-week work-life balance challenge, but my 90-day plan, right? So I work a lot with the clients that do transitions from work and, like from life. And when we do the 90-day plan, so the first part is built up to the 5 points, but the first one is who you want to become. Because I did so many 90-day plans during corporate, and it was missing this part, who you want to become. Because now, like when it's a 90-day plan, like for something new that you are up to, there's something there that it's new. So you have actually like a clean blank sheet to build the story you want to do, right? So you want to write and you want to. So how does it look like? You can be intentional about that. But the fact that you are always expecting from others to say what you need to do, how you need to perform, sometimes you forget. So about yourself, and the only thing you want is to fit in. So also on the 90-day plan, I use this part. The first point is who you want to become, which is about the future self, and as well my coaching 101. So the program Work Life Harmony has the first pillar, which is creative vision. And the first thing we do to set up the KPIs, which are the goals to measure along the program, which normally takes between 4 to 6 months. It's all about coming on the future self, future self. All right. So this is something very I work a lot with my clients, and that's why I'm more and more comfortable to. I'm very comfortable to do this exercise, and I have really fun being intentional and details regarding to that. Okay, so now you have something to go after, and you can use this before you go to and build your vision board, because I know that perhaps you have some cool parties. I know there's like so much cool parties, to do your vision board. And so you have some tangible thing here to do. 10 qualities of your future self and 10 wants of your future self. So they are different. Who you want to become is the 10. The 25, his wants. It's really things that you want to have, to do. There's one thing here is important. Perhaps the future self has already things in the present you have. So count that as a future self, because it's not only the 25 or everything that you imagine the future self doesn't mean you don't have right now in the future, in the present, sorry, in the present. Some of the things that you do in the present also are part of your future self, because you are a badass. You are here to live life on your own terms, right? So of course you have stuff right now that you have, that you are, right? You are a badass, that's for sure. But you are that you want to keep, okay? So with that, I wanted to wrap up and really go after your future self. Date no more. And hopefully this was useful. It was a very tangible and like short episode. But yes, let's go find your future self. Thank you for tuning in into the NHL Talks, Work Life for Badasses. I hope today's episode has inspired you to live life on your own terms with your future self. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you can do hard things. See ya!
You've been listening to Anna Jo Talks, Work Life for Badasses, with your host, Coach Anna Jo. To learn more about Coach Anna Jo, her blogs, and her coaching programs on how to achieve the work-life harmony you deserve, head on over to AnnaJoTalks.com. Make sure to follow Coach Anna Jo at Coach Anna Jo on all social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of the Anna Jo Talks episodes on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Anna Jo Talks, Work Life for Badasses was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.